Welcome to Tech with Scenario-Based Training. My name is Salman Francis and I will be instructor for this course. Today, our CEO has tasked us to set up an auto-scaling system on our Amazon Web Services. So without further ado, let's start. We already have our two instances running and they are part of the Elastic Load Balancer or Application Load Balancer. You can see this IP address 3.17.79.169 and 18.188.75.127. And our Elastic Load Balancer this is our Elastic Load Balancer, and you can see our DNS name and from here you can check that this Elastic Load Balancer or Application Load Balancer is working as a round robin fashion. So everything is working good. Now what we need to do is we need to create an auto scaling group and set up our auto scaling members. So to do that, we are going to go to this auto scaling portion, click on launch configuration, create launch configuration. Choose a machine. I'm going to choose Amazon Linux 2 AMI. I'm going to use the free tier. The name is going to be itpings-lc. Advanced option, we are not going to use any kernel ID, RAM disk. Okay, so this user data is important. The thing is, anything you will put here, they will become the part of that machine. So for example, if I'm going to use, let's say, bin bash script to install HTTPD, and let's say we will use and echo some text to, let's say, this is our application server, and send it to var www/html/index.html. What it's going to do is it's going to create the server, install Apache, start it, make sure it's enabled. So if the system restarts, Apache will be started automatically. Apache will start automatically. And here you can see that it's going to create a file with this content. The file will be index.html. So any server which will start within that auto scaling group will have this index.html file with the same content. So you have to be careful about this. Okay, now the IP address, I want assign a public IP address to every instance. That's what I'm going to choose. Next, storage, we are not concerned with the storage, it's a demo. Security group, I'm going to use an existing security group which we created for our load balancer. It's ELB sec group. Over here you can see HTTP is enabled, SSH and HTTPS. Next we are going to review, and if everything is good, I am going to launch the configuration, and I'm going to use the old key pair which I already have. Create it, and everything is good. Then successfully created launch configuration group. Now we need to create an auto scaling group. Okay. For this, we have clicked on auto scaling group, and the group name is going to be itpings ASG, auto scaling group. Okay, I want to start with one instance. That's fine. Network I'm going to use is my own VPC, and subnets, I already have two subnets. If you remember from my previous video regarding Elastic Load Balancer. If you have not seen that video, I recommend that you must, because it is a good start for understanding load balancer from scratch, especially application load balancer. Okay, from here, advanced details. So I want to check for 180 seconds. That's about 2 minutes, 3 minutes rather, or let's make it 120. So this is the health check grace periods, pretty self-explanatory. Monitoring instance protection. I'm not concerned with instance protection right now. And the thing is, we are going to click next, configure scaling policies. Okay. So use scaling policy to adjust the capacity of the group. Scale between 1 and 1. So 1 and 1 means the minimum instance. These will be the minimum and maximum. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use minimum of 3 instances and maximum of 6. Okay, so the name of the scaling group is, it pings scaling group size SGS, and it's dependent on the average CPU's utilization. So what will happen if the target value is 80, like my CPU utilization is greater than or equal to 80, then it will start a new instance or something like that. And instance seconds to warm up, I'm going to make it 30 seconds, because otherwise demo video, if I make this 300 seconds, and it will take a lot of time. So anyway, then I'm going to click next, configure notification. We are not concerned about the notification right now. Okay, so here you can see it's giving us the error, and it's saying that minimum group size must not greater than the starting number. If you remember, we set up the minimum or the start, like we need 1 instance, so that's why it's asking for 1. Okay, so next. We are not interested in adding the notifications right now. You can set up the tags. So click on review. Okay, so right now, scaling policies. So I think everything is good. I'm going to just create auto scaling group. And we have successfully created our auto scaling group. And now if I go to our EC2 dashboard, we will see soon that our new machine will be starting up shortly. So here you can see that it's pending. And this is the IP address. And if you remember that the text which we added to that machine, I'm just going to copy this address. And you can see this load balancer is working. Like it's working, we have not touched this. So what about this IP address? The newly created machine, right now it's still initializing. We can see that. So let's wait. And this is our application server. So perfect. The system is working right now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to create, or I'm going to stop this instance. So if you remember, let's go to our, again to our auto scaling group. And over here you can see that instance is 1, desired is 1, minimum is 1, and 6 is the maximum. So what does it mean? 1 instance means that 1 instance is working. Desired, how much we require, like what is our desire? My desire is 1 right now, but if I create, like let's say if I add that my desire is 2, so another system will automatically come up. So let's try that. I'm going to go to action, edit, and now minimum is 1, desired capacity, let's say I want 2. Okay, and now let's see what will happen. Save. Let's go to EC2 dashboard. And now you can see that at the moment it's not showing you the fourth system, but soon it will. Let's refresh it. Right now it's showing you only 3 systems, 1, 2, and 3. Let's wait for some time. Because we have increased our desire. And here it is. You can see that another system is initializing. Okay, so the content will be same. So if I copy this IP address here, if you remember that this IP address this is our application server, and this new system will have the same content. But we need to wait because it's initializing. Okay. And there we have it. This is our application server. So you can see that the content is same. So you have to be careful about this, because if you have a different machine and if you have changed some data into it, so you have to take care of these things, because if you have the script, so the other machine which will come up will have the same script, will have the same content. And that's why we will create another video where we will see how we can set up our applications or system in such a way so that our data is up to date with the auto scaling group. Anyway, so now what I'm going to show you is how to add our current machines into the load balancer, or sorry, the auto scaling group. So currently you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 machines. Okay. And as per our auto scaling policy, we have the desired capacity of 2 and minimum is 1. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, if I change here again anything, it will automatically come up. So I don't want to do it. What I want to do right now is I will have these 2 machines. Here, these 2 machines, 3.17 and 18.188. These are not part of our auto scaling group. So I want to add them to our auto scaling group. So what can we do that? To do that, it's very simple. Just select these 2 machines. Go to instance setting. Okay, let me go one by one. Instance setting and attach to scaling group. Okay, now it's asking attach to a new scaling group, yes, or an existing auto scaling group. So we have an existing auto scaling group and it's called it pings ASG, and you can see here it's telling you that add the instance to group IT pings, it pings ASG and automatically increment the desired capacity. If it will not automatically increment, then our system will not work. So yes, we want this. Attach, close. Next, we are going to select other machine and we want instance setting attached to auto scaling group. Okay, now if we go to our policy auto scaling group, we will see that we will have a desired of 4, because it was 2 earlier. Now you can see that the desired capacity has changed from 2 to 4. Okay. Now one main thing is, let's go I'm just going to cancel it. Okay, now what will happen? This is working. This is working. So need to check if this load balancer is working or not. So it's working because the load balancer is part of two servers which we created earlier, but it's not part of the auto scaling group right now. So this means that the application load balancer is not working with the auto scaling group. So how we can enable that? To do that, we can just go to auto scaling group, select it, edit it, and over here in the target group we will select it pings TG. So if we select it pings TG as a target group, this means that all of the systems part of this target group will become part of this system, and the load balancer, everything which is included, it will be part of the system. So right now we don't have any load balancer here. It means that if we select the target group, then the application load balancer will become part of this scaling group. So we can check that by saving it. And now if we go to this, if you remember here, it was showing only server 1 and server 2. But now if I click on this, you will see it will go to the other server soon, shortly. Let's wait. Here you go. Perfect. Now you can see that it's going round robin, the traffic is going in round robin fashion in all of the servers. So server 1, like the application server, server 2. So perfect. This is how you add the application load balancer to our scaling group. So we have successfully completed our task and our CEO is happy now. And thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for purchasing my course. See you in next video. Until then, goodbye.